terrorists and all that kind of
So do you
thing.
suspect me of being a terrorist?
Oh, come on. You're not going to get... I know you've got a script.
Welcome back to the channel, where we shine a light on misconduct, dive into police and legal matters, defend civil liberties, and hold power to account. Today's episode comes to us from UK Audit. Make sure to check the link below, subscribe to his page, and give him the credit he's earned. In this installment, UK Audit is recording outside the Open Shore complex when officers roll up in response to a call. They don't uncover any offense or even manage to identify one. Instead, they jump straight to suggesting his filming is somehow causing harassment and start firing off questions left and right. The real trouble begins when UK Audit asks them to actually cite a law that backs up their authority. Suddenly, all that confidence evaporates, and not a single one of them can explain what legally prevents him from filming. Still, they linger around, growing visibly more frustrated as each of their arguments gets systematically dismantled.
Okay.
What are you up to?
Pardon?
What are you up to?
Just doing a little documentary, that's all.
On what, mate?
Pardon?
On what?
Just public interest.
Right. It's fair enough you're filming our cars coming out, but you're filming people going out in personal cars. What's that for?
I haven't filmed any personal cars.
You've been seen on the cameras doing it.
So you can say for 100% on this video I've got someone's personal car, have you?
That's the information we've just been passed. That's why we've come to speak to you now.
You've been given wrong information.
Okay.
You've been told wrong information.
What's your name, mate?
I don't need to give a name.
Well, you do.
Under what law?
I'm not getting involved in all this. You're not going to get a rise out of me. I'm bothered about my colleagues. Obviously, this is a police station.
Right. And I'm bothered about my human rights.
Right. So what? You're coming here of your own accord. Why? As in, what human right is this that you're bothered about by coming to a police station and watching the vehicles come out?
It's quite intimidating to the people that leaving the camp.
Obviously, I've not broken any laws and filming from a public place.
That's correct.
So
Yeah, we just want to know the reason why.
obviously, I've just given that officer the reason why.
You haven't actually given a reason. You've just said my human rights.
I don't need to give a reason to why I'm filming.
First, they throw out an accusation that UK Audit has been pointing the camera at personal vehicles. The moment he denies it, the focus shifts to demanding his name. UK Audit poses the most straightforward question possible. Under what law am I required to provide that? Right on cue, the officer suddenly decides he doesn't want to get involved or give him a rise, which conveniently sidesteps having to name a legal power he seemed convinced existed just moments earlier. Then UK Audit brings up his right to record, and the officer actually asks, what human right? While his colleague chimes in calling the filming intimidating. For the record, Article 10 of the Human Rights Act 1998, drawn from the European Convention on Human Rights, protects freedom of expression, which includes the right to receive and share information. And police guidance has long made it clear that members of the public and press don't need a permit just to film in public spaces.
What's the reason why you've stopped?
Because of you.
Right. What's your name and badge number, please?
15213. That's it.
15 what?
213.
And yours, sorry?
17652.
Okay. Can I help you?
Yes,
Yeah.
we just want to know why you're filming private cars coming out of the police station.
I'm not going to answer that question.
No, you're not, because that might cause harassment. Alarm and distress to that person as to why a person with a hood up filming people coming out of the place of work.
Right. Have I used threatening words or behaviour?
Just by your demeanour.
My demeanour?
And you're filming them as they're coming out with the private cars.
Right, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm not going to answer any more of your questions now. Pardon?
Why is it interesting?
Could you tell me it's
We're trying to be
Section
civil.
5 public order? You aren't trying to be civil, you're trying to incriminate me.
Not at all. We're not saying mention anything about a public order offence. Where's that come out of my mouth?
So harassment, alarm and distress, what does that fall under then?
Did I mention a public order?
You said someone feels harassed, alarm and distress, so what order's that?
Hey, hello, we know why you're in. You want to come and get a rise off the police.
The officer then tries to twist UK Audit's filming into harassment, alarm, or distress. Yet he never actually names the offense he's circling around. Section 5 of the Public Order Act 1986. The problem is, Section 5 specifically requires threatening or abusive words or behavior. When UK Audit asks what threatening behavior he's actually exhibited, the officer falls back on his demeanor, a conveniently hazy term, since demeanor on its own doesn't meet any of the statutory requirements. Then, bizarrely, the officer insists he never said it was a public order matter. even though the exact phrase he introduced comes straight from that legal framework. And when his colleague jumps in, accusing UK Audit of being there just to provoke police, the irony practically writes itself. They drove over. They approached him. They started firing off questions. And now they're blaming him simply because they don't like the responses they're getting.
You don't know the reasons to why I'm here.
I'm not.
You're assuming.
Film me all day long at work. I don't care. But when you're filming our colleagues coming out in their own personal cars, that's why we're here. That's why we're talking to you.
And that's not a criminal offence. And you don't know for certain I have done that.
Well,
and if I have, there's no law to say that I can't.
I'm not saying there is, but when it's a place of work where police officers work, and we're obviously a target for certain people, terrorists and all that kind of thing.
So do you suspect me of being a terrorist?
Oh, come on. You're not going to get... I know you've got a script that you follow.
I follow a script?
We watch these videos yourself. We watch them.
So why did you stop then?
Because we've been asked to come and see what you're doing. Because one of our colleagues has gone out, off duty, leaving work.
Right.
You filmed her going out.
And is that a criminal offence?
You stood here with your thing, recording work. I'm saying, why are you doing that?
Right, I don't need to answer your questions.
What's your name?
I'm not going to give my name. I've not broken no law, so...
How long do you plan on staying here doing this today?
As long as it takes me to finish my documentary.
Right. What's your documentary about?
I've told you that's nothing to do with you.
Well, it is, because you're filming us at our place of work coming out.
You've stopped to me, I wasn't filming you. You stopped your car and got out to your car and started talking to me, hadn't you?
UK Audit keeps steering the conversation back to the one point they seem determined to dodge. Filming from a public space is simply not an offense. And just because officers aren't thrilled about their personal vehicles possibly ending up on camera doesn't suddenly grant those cars some special legal shield against being recorded. When that line of reasoning stalls, the familiar terrorism angle gets pulled out. Police are potential targets, they say, so apparently anyone pointing a camera automatically deserves suspicion. Yet even official police guidance makes clear that photography in public isn't on its own grounds for a terrorism stop. Then the officer admits he's actually watched auditing videos before, which makes this whole encounter even more baffling. If he's already familiar with these situations, he ought to know that auditors frequently film police buildings and vehicles entirely within the law.
I just think it's quite, I don't know, bizarre that people like yourself come and do these videos.
I just think it's bizarre that obviously you come out with all your accusations. You told me someone's harassed, alarm and distress. Then this gentleman here tells me it's not a section 5, so I'd love to know what section it is.
Nobody mentioned section 5. Nobody's mentioned an offence, have they?
You just said someone was...
It could cause that person.
No, you told me someone has...
No, not at all. Otherwise, we'd be arresting you for that offence, wouldn't we?
You would be arresting me. For what offence?
For section 5 public order offence.
Right, did he use threatening words or behaviour?
Have we said you've committed a section 5 public order
That's what you was trying to insinuate. You was trying to tell me...
I'm trying to explain to you, but you keep interrupting me. Have we said to you you've committed a section 5 public order offence?
Yeah.
When
you first got out, you told me...
You
told me one of your colleagues have left in a personal vehicle and has rang you, and that's the reason why you're here. And they feel harassed, alarm and distressed, and it was my demeanour.
It's been recorded, hasn't
it?
Okay, I suggest you rewind that video.
Yeah, I will do, yeah. I'll play it right back, yeah.
I suggest you do, because nobody's mentioned that you're under arrest for an offence of section 5 public order.
You were threatening me with it.
Nobody says you have committed an offence under section 5 of the Public Order Act.
This is where the officer starts tripping over his own words. Just a few minutes earlier, he was talking about colleagues feeling harassed, alarmed, or distressed. Language lifted straight from the Public Order Act 1986. But now he's trying to back away from that by claiming he never accused UK Audit of an offence. If no offence was being suggested and he wasn't leaning on any legal authority, then what exactly justified him coming out and confronting UK Audit in the first place? You can't use criminal-sounding language to justify an intervention, only to retreat from it the moment someone asks you to explain the law. If a colleague simply said they didn't like being filmed, that's a workplace complaint, not reasonable suspicion.
You told me there was harassed, alarm and distress.
That could cause a person harassment, alarm or distress.
So me filming
Has
can
anybody
cause...
reported that?
So from me filming... I'm not twisting it. I'm not.
You are.
So tell me what I've twisted.
You twisted my words.
Why, what did I twist?
You said to me that I've accused you of public order offence.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So what does harassment, alarm and distress come under?
At what point did I say you have committed an offence under the Public Order Act? At what point? Not at all.
Can you answer my question then?
No, you answer my question.
Answer my question.
No, you answer my question.
I don't need to answer your questions.
I don't answer your question.
Right, get back in your car and drive off then.
We'll do in a minute.
See ya.
Yeah, no problems at all.
Take care.
No problems at all.
Take care. Have a good day.
Doing and why you do it.
And you can't answer the question, can you?
Get your views and whatnot on YouTube or whatever it is. I don't know what the pathetic thing is, but we've come out, we've asked you for your details because we're going to have officers coming in and out, whether they're on duty or off duty all day, and we might be getting several calls saying there's some guy dressed in dark clothing, hood up, filming us coming out. All I'm asking you is how long you're going to be here so we can let people know.
I don't need to answer that.
Because you're telling me you're not of any concern to us, you're not a danger to us or anything, so if I let them know that all you're doing is making your own little documentary, they don't need to be concerned.
I've already told you that.
I'm asking you how long you're going to be here.
And I don't need to answer that.
Work together with you so that you don't, every time a police car comes out, they don't stop and speak to you, because that is going to obviously irritate your documentary, isn't it? Or is your documentary you want to get a rise out of officers?
The first officer isn't really investigating anything at this stage. He's just arguing for the sake of winning the exchange. He keeps repeating that he never accused UK Audit of any offense, but that only makes the entire stop look even more meaningless. Because if there was no offense, no suspicion, and no power being exercised, then there was absolutely no reason to drag out this conversation in the first place. Then the second officer tries a softer approach, suggesting that UK Audit should hand over his details so that other officers won't stop him again. It might sound reasonable on the surface, but there's still no general legal obligation to identify yourself just to make future encounters with police more convenient. Personal information isn't some kind of membership card that buys you freedom from being questioned later on.
I'm not going to answer your questions.
Well,
So what does harassment, alarm and distress come under?
Going back to that.
Yeah.
Section 5 Public Order Act. You know exactly what it is. Nobody's accused you of it. Otherwise...
When you first come out, that's what you said.
No.
Me filming...
Rewind it.
Me filming cannot cause someone to feel harassed, alarm and distressed.
in the
And listen to what you said. And listen to what you said.
Because we're a target for legitimate terrorists, so I'm not saying that's what you're from, whatever, before you start accusing me of that, but it's a legitimate thing for us to be a target of. So if you're filming, how do we know that you're not passing that on? That could be then committing an offence. We'll seize your phone and you can use it as evidence and things if we were going to go down that route, wouldn't we?
You've already done it once, yeah?
Right.
I've been released without charge.
Actually, you're answering the question.
No, I've been released without charge because you know you've not got a leg to stand on. That's why you're driving off.
I'm not trying to get
You've already done it once, and the officers are going to bring accountable for their actions. So if you want to do that, and you think you need a court order, to delete my footage.
I don't want to delete your footage.
For you to delete it or to stop me filming, you need a court order.
You crack on. I can't wait to watch YouTube later.
Yeah. Have a good day. You'll be famous.
Now the officer drags terrorism back into the conversation, suggesting that UK Audit could be filming police vehicles to pass the footage on to terrorists, and that his phone could then be seized as evidence. But evidence of what offense? He still hasn't identified one. The fact that police could be potential targets doesn't automatically mean everyone recording them is part of some hypothetical terrorist intelligence operation. Suspicion has to be grounded in what UK Audit is actually doing, not some imagined scenario about what he might do with the footage later. Even under Section 43 of the Terrorism Act 2000, reasonable suspicion that a person is a terrorist is required before its search powers can be used. And seizure powers still need their own lawful basis. They don't kick in simply because an officer drops the word terrorism into the discussion.
You need to do something progressive with your life rather than just.
And what do you do? What do you do that's progressive?
What's our job? What's our role?
Being corrupt. That's what I see you as.
Okay. So if we're corrupt and I don't know, maybe you don't like us or you're intimidated by us, why?
You just tried to incriminate me when you first got out of the car.
How?
Telling me that I caused someone harassed, alarmment and distress.
He didn't say that.
He didn't say that.
He said
Wow.
You could call someone. If you'd have called someone that,
He said-
I think we'd have been dealing with it in a different way.
You said you stopped because someone had reported me filming outside,
Yeah.
and they feel harassed, alarmed and distressed.
No. Mate, when you go home, you edit your little video.
Okay.
Listen to that part. Back.
Yeah, I'll listen to it. I'll listen to it all.
Yeah, without editing it. Be honest with yourself.
I will be honest. Don't you worry. There'll be no cuts out of this.
Hope you got what you want.
What's your site called so we can have a little look?
I'm not going to answer that.
See.
Have a good day, sir.
Don't be surprised if police keep stopping to speak to you because it is obviously a bit of a worry. We have asked you to say how long you're going to be and we can pass that on and then you won't get stopped. But
I could stay here for as long as I like.
crack on. We're on to it.
After running through harassment claims, terrorism talk, demands for personal details, and even the threat of seizing UK Audit's phone, The officer eventually heads back to the car without having named a single offense. But instead of simply accepting that UK Audit was within his rights to stay put, he makes it personal, telling him to do something progressive with his life. That's not a legal argument. That's frustration spilling out when the legal angles have all fallen flat. A professional officer shouldn't need to resort to putting someone down just because they couldn't convince them to stop doing something perfectly lawful. And look at what all those warnings actually produced. No arrest, no search, no seizure, and no requirement for UK Audit to leave. The officers repeatedly hinted that his behavior could be suspicious, yet they never crossed the threshold of reasonable suspicion needed to back up those powers. So after all that back and forth, they climb back into the same car they arrived in and drive off with absolutely nothing to show for it. UK Audit hasn't given up his details, hasn't stopped filming, and hasn't been shown any law that prohibits what he's doing. That's the part that cuts through all the noise. The officer spent the whole encounter trying to make lawful activity sound criminal. And when they couldn't bend the law to fit, the only thing left to fall back on was their personal opinion. That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe. It really helps me keep this independent coverage going.